Okay, looks like our numbers have started to slow up. Good evening. My name is Sarah Scalzo. I am the director in the Office of Student Engagement. I am here to just kind of kick off our financial aid and billing session tonight. The presenters may joke with you in a little bit that it's not always the most exciting topic, but they have a way of I think making it very easy to understand, and they have a good time with it. So I did want to start out tonight by just letting you know, financial aid and billing typically has quite a few questions that we receive from parents and guardians that are all over the place. And some may feel very specific to you, and some might be nice general questions. What we would ask, our two presenters are going to go ahead and kind of share some slides and go over some information, but we will be able to take questions from you throughout the session. What I would recommend, it is very likely we won't get through every single question that is added to our chat tonight. And so for that reason, if you've got a burning question that you want to make sure is answered at some point, please do not ask your question anonymously. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little Q&A button. Just type in your question. Nobody's going to see that you put in the question except for those of us on the panel this evening. But that will allow us, if we can't get to your question tonight, to be able to follow up with you at a later point in time. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and hide in the background and let our experts kick off the show tonight. So first up, we've got our wonderful Director of Financial Aid, Marianne Stano. So thanks, Marianne.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Hi, everybody. I'm a bit taken aback by what Sarah said, that financial aid and billing aren't the most exciting topics. So we'll see about that. She's right. It's pretty dull, but we'll do our best to be informative and keep you entertained tonight. So my goal tonight is to hopefully make sure that everybody understands where they should be in the financial aid process right now, and to perhaps already throughout my presentation address a lot of the more common questions that we get. I'd like to begin with explaining who financial aid isn't. We are not the billing office. That would be the next speaker. He is coming from the billing office, or at Loyola, we refer to it as Student Administrative Services, also referred to as SAS. So the billing office is responsible for managing your student's account. Financial aid doesn't determine billing. We are also not undergraduate admission in that we do not determine who receives a presidential scholarship or a Dean scholarship or a Loyola scholarship. Those decisions are all made by the undergraduate admission office. What financial aid does is determine, based on the results of the FAFSA and the profile, what kind of need-based aid a student is eligible for. And need-based aid can be in the form of a grant, loan, work study. So that's the kind of work that we're involved with. So let's get going. I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this will come up correctly. And I hope you can see that okay. Let me see, let me advance that. So we are, in case you haven't had an opportunity to visit, we are in the Not Humanities Center, and we are in the same building as undergraduate admission and the president's office. We're up on the second floor. So we're hoping once you get on campus, you'll have an opportunity to come visit. Once again, for the 2021-22 school year, which is the entering school year for your student, we are using the 2021-22 FAFSA and 2021-22 CSS profile application. Everything is very year specific in financial aid. So these are the applications for students who are wishing to receive financial aid for this upcoming academic year. It is late if you haven't applied for financial aid as of yet. Most of our incoming students have. But if you're still on the fence, still thinking about it, it's not too late. I just encourage you to go ahead and do it as soon as possible. One of the things that you're going to notice is common on all my slides is that I include our web address. And that is because everything that I'm going to be saying can also be found on our website. So please keep that in mind if you have questions, whether it's tonight or throughout the rest of the summer. Our office receives a lot of phone calls and emails, especially at this time of year. So sometimes it's easier if you just spend a little time, maybe less frustrating for you if you can go right to our website to get your information. Okay. Verification. I want to touch briefly on this topic because to make sure that everybody understands that some students were selected for a process called verification. And they were either selected by the federal government from the FAFSA or by Loyola. And whether you were selected by the federal government or my office, what it means is that we tag the student to submit some additional information, income information. And the reason we do that, it could be at random, it could be that we noticed some inconsistency. There are a variety of reasons. But if selected for verification, you are required to submit some additional information, particularly 2019 federal tax returns. And we then will compare what's on the income you provide or the information you provide with the information reported on the FAFSA and the profile. And we make corrections to your applications based on your actual income information. So again, just to give you a little background on why we do it, why you may have been selected, but also to remind you that if you haven't completed the verification process, it's really important that you do so as soon as possible. The way we communicate with the students is through email. So, and we're sending emails to the students' Loyola email account. Now that they're all Loyola students, we really rely on the students to check their email. So you may want to remind your student to just do a double check, make sure that they haven't received anything from us recently about anything that might be outstanding. One of the programs that we get a lot of questions about is the direct loan program, okay? Grants and scholarships, not so much. The grants and scholarships represent free money. So usually people are pretty good with that. And it's like, oh, free money, no questions, just thank you. But when it comes to loans, yeah, there are a lot of questions because it's a process. And the student loans fall into two categories, subsidized and unsubsidized. The basic or main difference between a subsidized loan and an unsubsidized student loan is the interest benefit. A subsidized loan carries an interest benefit, and unsubsidized does not. The interest benefit is that on a subsidized loan, the federal government is actually paying the interest on the loan while the student is in school. So there's no interest accruing on that loan the entire time your student is in school and enrolled at least half time. That same benefit does not exist on the unsubsidized loan. So if the interest is not paid while your student is in school, it will accrue and it will be added to the principal of that loan when your student goes into repayment. Neither of these loans is expected to be repaid while your student is in school. Prepayment, however, there is no penalty if you prepay. But if you wait until after graduation, that's technically when the student does go into repayment. The most that we can offer a student on a subsidized loan their first year in college is $3,500, and that maximum is set by the federal government. If a student is eligible for a full $3,500 in a subsidized Stafford loan, then we are also able to offer the student an additional $2,000 in an unsubsidized Stafford loan. So between the two programs, a student can receive $5,500. Well, you might be thinking, well, I don't remember seeing a $3,500 subsidized loan. We only got a $5,500 unsubsidized. And that's possible. If the student is not eligible for the subsidized, we're going to put it all in an unsubsidized loan for $5,500. If the student is not eligible for the full $3,500, maybe your student was only eligible for $2,000 in a subsidized loan, then your student would have been offered what, $3,500 in the unsubsidized. So by law, we're first going to offer the student a subsidized loan if we're able, and then the difference would be offered in the unsub. And the point to keep in mind is that between the two of them, it cannot exceed $5,500 for year one. Now, just because your student was offered these loans, there's more to it. They have to do something in order to receive these loans. The federal government does require any new borrower to complete entrance counseling and a master promissory note. Your student, as a borrower, has rights and also has responsibilities. And it's through these processes, through the entrance counseling and the MPN, that the student can become an informed borrower, because the loan or loans will be in your student's name, not in the parent's name. If your student accepted the loans through our financial aid acceptance process, but didn't complete the entrance counseling or master promissory note, it's as if they have no loan. They must complete these processes. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you on another slide how you can determine, or how we know if your student has completed these processes. When your student does complete entrance counseling and the master promissory note, they're going to be logging into a federal website, because again, these are federal loans, not Loyola loans. Okay. Parent, we get a lot of questions about Parent Plus loans as well. And with the Parent Plus loan, your student would have had to have filed a 2021-22 FAFSA. This is a federal requirement that the student have a FAFSA on file. And the parent must not have the borrower, the parent that's borrowing, may not have an adverse credit history. Now, Loyola is not performing the credit check at all. This is all through the federal application process, but we're notified simply yes or no if the parent's loan has been approved. The Plus loan basically allows you to perhaps borrow the difference between your cost and the financial aid your student is receiving, or a lesser amount. That's up to you. We do encourage families to really take advantage of as much aid as possible through the student before borrowing in the Plus. And really what I mean by that is really consider those student loans. I know some families would prefer that their student not borrow, so they borrow everything through a Plus loan, but the terms of a student loan are actually better than a Plus loan. So you may want to give that some consideration when you're thinking about this, if you still haven't applied. Just because a student loan is in your student's name doesn't mean your student has to repay that loan. It couldn't be the parent if you prefer, but that is a family choice. To me, the best way to start the Plus loan application process is to begin with our website. And we're going to post these slides to our website after the presentation. So you may want to come back and take a look at these slides. But if you go to the Loyola website and you just follow the prompts to get to loans and then ultimately Plus loans, you'll see that we provide step-by-step instructions for the application process. So again, that may help you to get off to the proper start if you just begin on our website. One other alternative would be the private student loan, also referred to as alternative loans. These are not federal loans, but they are loans available through various banks or credit unions, and they can be used for educational purposes only. The student would be the borrower. They're more like the PLUS loan in that the amount that can be borrowed is greater than what a student could get through the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. But if your student borrows, they will need a cosigner. Okay. Some families choose to use the private loan process instead of a parent loan, because even though the loan is in the student's name, the terms of the private loans can sometimes be better than that of the PLUS loan. So you might want to keep that in mind if you're still on the fence as far as where you want to go with this process, if you want to borrow at all. Another program that we get a lot of questions about is federal work study. Federal work study is a federally funded program. We determine eligibility for work study based on the results of the FAFSA. So if your student was eligible for work study, we included it in their award package. If the student was not eligible, then it was not there. It's not listed. So if your student, again, is eligible, it will be listed in their financial aid package. Work study is a really nice opportunity for your student to get to know Loyola, not only from a student perspective, but really from an employee perspective. And it's an opportunity to work on campus, perhaps in an area related to their intended major, perhaps at the FAC, maybe in my office, maybe in undergraduate admission. There are loads of opportunities. Unlike the other types of aid, grants, loans, scholarships, which all are applied to your student's bill in student accounts, work study is not. Your student, if offered work study, was given a dollar figure of $3,800. That means your student can borrow up to, here we go. That means your student can earn up to $3,800 based on the number of hours they work at a minimum wage of $11.75 an hour. All right, so some students will earn that full amount. Some students might earn half. Some students might only earn a couple $100. It really depends on your student and how much they're going to be working. But once they reach that maximum of $3,800, then they would be cut off from that program. We will be sending students detailed emails in August about the work study program so that they can get going on the job search. We'll provide a manual, all kinds of instructions. In the meantime, if you want to take a look at our website just to get a feel for information that's currently there, you can do so, but it has not yet been updated for the 22-23 school year. And that's by design. We won't be updating that until August. Okay, so financial aid self-service. Hopefully a lot of you are already familiar with the student self-service portal. When we awarded your student, we sent them a paper award letter if they were getting need-based financial aid, but we also sent you an email, or we sent your student an email that said, hey, you know, you can check out your financial aid award online through financial aid self-service. And the beauty of self-service is that it's not only a source for getting a financial aid package, but you can determine your financial aid status. You can do check your financial aid checklist to make sure that you have all your paperwork in. You can use it to determine if there are any outstanding processes yet. And there is even information or a link to the parent portal so that parent, you too, with your student's permission, and I think Dave's going to explain that one a little bit more. We always laugh when we say, yeah, parent-student has to give the parent permission. But the bottom line is your student can give you permission to view your information in self-service. So definitely tap your student for that information if you haven't already. But let's take a look at self-service. And I apologize, these screenshots are not as large as I would like, but hopefully you can see them well enough. When you first log into financial aid self-service, this is a picture or an example of the home page. Please note that you have to select the financial aid year at the top. So for the incoming freshmen, it's going to be 2021-22 for all of you. But next year, you're going to be able to access information for both the current school year, the next school year. You'll be able to access more than 1 year at a time. So always make sure you're looking at the correct year. But there's messaging on this homepage that you want to be familiar with. And there's also the checklist. You can already see in this example information about what might be complete or what's incomplete. And I will tell you right now, everybody is going to see incomplete for something called the annual student loan acknowledgement. We get loads of questions about this one, and it's because this was a requirement that the federal government was going to enforce starting this year, and then they decided they're not going to, and we are waiting for a patch from our software developer to take it off the site. We can't. Now, the student can still go ahead and complete the process through this link, this annual student loan acknowledgement, because it goes to good information. It helps the student to understand what they're doing, how much they're borrowing, really good stuff like that. But we're never going to get confirmation that the student did it until the federal government enforces this process. So until we get a patch from our software provider, that's going to remain on the site. So I just, again, want to give everybody a heads up. Again, you'll also see that we have a lot of helpful links. So please take some time to go into those. If you continue through self-service financial aid, you can actually, actually, this is a home page for somebody else, but it's an example where you can see there's a lot of incompletes on this page. And we tell you what is incomplete. So in this example, we can see that the entrance counseling and the master promissory note are still incomplete. So again, please make self-service your friend. It's got a lot of helpful information. You can go into the actual checklist to see what has been received. And hopefully if you do that, you will see nothing but received and no incompletes. Here's an example of the My Financial Aid page. This is the page where a student can see their financial aid offer, and the aid is grouped by scholarships and grants, loans is another group, and then work study. And scholarships and grants are always going to be in an accepted status because, again, we assume that you're going to want this money, okay? So it's not a question of reject or accept. You want it. Loans, however, and work study, a student has to accept or reject. So in this example that we see that this student was offered an unsubsidized loan for $5,500 for the year, but it's still in a pending status. So this is the page where the student would actually go in and accept their student loan. And on that same page, a little bit lower, if the entrance counseling and master promissory note were incomplete, you would get that action needed symbol. And if you click on these links, it would take you right to the spot you need to be to complete the processes. But in this student's case, we already know that it's been done, and so it's been updated in self-service. And then finally, there's a financial aid notification page. It's similar to the page we were just on, but it has the look and feel of a more traditional financial aid. Not supposed to use the word award letter anymore, but that's what it looks like. It will explain that the student's award was based on the student being either full-time or less than full-time. on campus or off campus, and then it will list all the students' aid. Please review this information carefully, because if there's a mismatch, if your student is going to be on campus, but the housing status you see on this form says that they're going to be with parents, you need to let us know so that we can recalculate their financial aid. So that was financial aid self-service. Just a couple more things. I know I'm running over a bit. 2 calculators to be familiar with: the bill calculator and the plus loan calculator. The bill calculator is really handy before bills become available, so that families can kind of get a feel for, okay, what's it going to cost? If I factor in the financial aid, what's the outstanding balance? That's the purpose of the bill calculator. But now that bills are live and self-service, I would go to the bill directly as opposed to the calculator. If you're struggling with how much to borrow for that Parent Plus loan, we also have a plus loan calculator to give you some assistance. So again, available on our website. Also, both links are available through self-service. Real quick, retention criteria. Some information you need to know for students. What are the requirements to renew aid for next year? For merit-based scholarships, presidential, deans, Loyola, students must maintain full-time enrollment, and they need to have a cumulative GPA of at least a 2.0. For the non-need-based grants, things like Baltimore Diocesan, Community College, Evergreen and Evergreen Community Grant, the Family Grant, the Legacy Grant, the Magis Grant, Phi Theta Kappa, and Charm City Promise Grant, although Charm City is not a non-need based, but it falls into this category that the student must maintain a 2.0 cumulative grade point average and full-time enrollment to continue to receive these awards next year. And then there's something called satisfactory academic progress that I really encourage you to take a look at. The vast majority of our students will do great academically, and they will progress through their program. But the federal government requires that the financial aid monitor something called academic progress in order for a student to continue to be eligible for financial aid. So the Loyola Satisfactory Academic Progress policy for undergraduate students is that a student must have at least a 1.8 cumulative grade point average after their first year and 2.0 minimum each year thereafter. And they must complete at least 67% of the credits they attempt. By doing this, we know that a student will stay on track to graduate within 150% of the time frame for their program. What does that mean in simple language? They'll graduate within 6 years. Now, I'm sure you're all thinking, I really hope my kid is out of there in 4 years. And the vast majority of students will graduate in 4 years, but some students will take a little bit longer. So one of the things that you need to keep in mind is that students do need to progress, and we have a whole lot of information about this policy on our website. So again, please take a look. And lastly, you applied for financial aid this year. You're going to apply for financial aid again next year, the 3rd year, and the 4th year. This is an annual process. Financial aid awards are not guaranteed from one year to the next. The need-based financial aid awards, a student can expect to receive a similar package from one year to the next, assuming that your information is similar from one year to the next. So next year, you'll be filling out the 22-23 applications. And believe it or not, those forms will be ready as of October 1st. So you can already start applying for next year in a couple months. So I'm gonna turn it over to Dave. Dave, my apologies, I went long. So you're gonna have to go quick so we have room for Q&A. So hopefully this is helpful, and I'm happy to take your questions after Dave is through his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. That's fine. You're allowed to run over. Financial aid is exciting, riveting. I don't have a thesaurus around me, but it is something to behold, everyone. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I'm sure everybody is just wide awake. So
Oh, yeah.
I'll go on mute. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
All right. Am I still sharing?
You are, I think. Hold on, let me.
Okay, here we go. All right. Adios for now.
Cool. All right, everyone. My name is Dave Alexander, and I am the Director of Student and Financial Operations here at the university, essentially accounts payable and accounts receivable. So money coming in and coming out. So for the next couple of years, we'll have a lovely relationship, hopefully. And yeah, I'm just here to share a little bit like what my office does and how we can help you guys get through these 4 years with as least pain as possible. So our office is called Student Administrative Services, which is a little misleading because sometimes people think we deal with grades and everything else, but it's because we deal with more than just the billing. We got to have a fancy title at the university. So our office is in Maryland Hall Room 140. It's this gray building here. There is two little brown doors on the right-hand side of the picture, or if you go in the bottom door there, that'll take you right into our office. If you want to reach out via email, it's sas@loyola.edu. And our phone number is 410-617-5047. But if you visit loyola.edu/SAS, it's going to have all the information that you need, all the information I'm giving you here in this presentation, along with links for things you'll be looking for, like waivers for health insurance we'll discuss later, instructions on the proxy access. And see, there's a couple questions in the Q&A about proxy access, things like that. We'll go over that in a little bit. But also on that, on our website, there is a link where you can schedule either a 15 or a 30-minute account review with an account specialist. That way you're not calling that 5047 phone number 6 times trying to get somebody and just keeps going to voicemail, or you're leaving messages. If you schedule an appointment with us, we can share screens, we can see what you're looking at, you can see what we're looking at. It's a nice feature, so don't be afraid to jump on there. It looks right into our calendars. I'm on there. We have my assistant director is on it, and then 3 account specialists who can all help you guys out with your account. So just know we are a small office, just like financial aid. We have essentially 4 people doing all the accounts for all the undergrad and graduate students. So we can get a little backed up. That's why I'm really pushing the appointments. So SAS, so mainly we are the billing and the cashier office for the university. And people always want to know what is the due dates. So the fall bill is due August 1st. That gives us a little time and a little wiggle room to work with people who have some, financial aid issues. There's some documents not been received yet, payments from like 529 plans, things like that. We can help you guys work through before the students arrive on campus. Spring bill is due usually that first week of January. So next year it's going to be January 7th. It's a Friday. Our office also does ID cards. So we print them out and we reprint them when the students lose them. There's a $15 fee if they lose the card. And I'll actually be sending out an email to them this evening with a link for them to upload their ID card picture. So tell them to be on the lookout for that. It's going to come to their Loyola account, and it'll come from sas@loyola.edu, and they just upload a picture of, a selfie of themselves, plain looking, up against like a plain light colored wall, just like for a passport or your driver's license, and then a picture of either their passport or driver's license, so we can verify that the picture we received is that actual person. We do parking registrations as well. So if we have any commuters out there, first year commuters can get parking on campus. It's $125 for the year for daytime commuters. You park just a little bit off campus down at Fitness and Aquatic Center. And you can register if you go to loyola.edu/SAS. There is a parking tab on there. You can go into parking, register right online, pay, and we'll mail your hang tag out to you in the mail. First year resident students are not allowed to have a car on campus unless they have special permission from Disability Support Services or something like that. If you have to leave for like weekly PT appointments, something like that, we can work with you on that. We also offer emergency loans. These have become less popular lately because all the students have credit debit cards. In years past, when they were less prevalent, a student needed money to get a bus ticket to come home for Easter vacation. we could loan them out to, it's loan up to $100 for 30 days interest free. So they come into our office. As long as their bill is paid, we can advance them the loan of $100. All they need is their ID and another form, their loyal ID and another form of ID, just so we can verify. And then we'll give them $100 cash. They have 30 days to pay it back. They can pay it back, you know, cash, check, credit card, in-house. They can call over the phone and repay it. If they don't repay it, it will show up on the student statement. So you guys will see a little note on there that says default McCroson loan on there, and then you'll see how much you actually took out. Well, like I said, those are becoming less popular. Another question we get a lot is what ATM machines are on campus. We have 2 PNC machines. One is near where Starbucks is on the east side of campus. The other one is on the west side of campus in Newman Towers, and those are both PNC ATMs. There's also a First Financial Federal Credit Union ATM right outside of Boulder, the main dining hall on campus. It's a smaller machine. The PNC ones are the only ones on campus that will accept deposits. We do have an exclusive student banking agreement with PNC, and if you visit our website, you can get all those details on there. They offer like virtual wallet and things like that if your students don't currently have a bank account. PNC is, you know, they have some extra incentives for the undergrad students. So feel free to check those out. So the question everyone's asking, now that we're here, how do we pay for this? So Marianne's group was nice enough to, you know, dole out all those scholarships and grants and federal grants and high school grants and scholarships and all that fun stuff. Now you're sitting here looking at a bill for $10,000. You know, what are we going to do to get the rest of that taken care of? And if you guys don't want to do loans through Marianne's office, either the PLUS loan or private alternative loan, that's where we come in and you get to work with us. We will take cash, just, you know, if it's over 10,000, you know, we have to do the IRS form and alert them that we received this huge chunk of cash. But you can also do, we will take personal checks. You can mail in a personal check. We still get those all the time, every day. We're getting stacks and stacks of checks. We do take debit and credit cards. Those are online only, and there's a 2.5% convenience fee. The only bonus to that is the extra Marriott points you'll get if you put it on your card. You can do e-check payments online as well. There's no fee for those. So as soon as your student grants you that proxy access that we've been talking about, you'll get your own username and password. You can log in and make those payments. So that's one of the best ways to guarantee your student gives you proxy access, is say, oh, I can't pay the bill online until you give me access. That way they'll sign you up. And then we'll talk about proxy access a little bit, go through that because it's a couple step process. 529 plans and third parties. 529, every single 529 plan is different. They generally only need the university's name and address, Loyola University, Maryland, 4501 North Charles Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21210, and attention SAS for Student Administrative Services. And they usually require the student's ID number. So essentially you just either call the 529 and go on their website, type in all that information, and boom, they'll mail us a check. They usually have, their turnaround time is usually pretty quick, you know, 5 to 10 business days. So it's not that long of a process, but they do mail a check. So last year with the mail delays, it was interesting. So it has started to speed up this year, we've noticed. You can do wire payments. If you want to do a domestic wire, visit loyola.edu/SAS. Under the payment options on there, it gives our information for domestic wires. If you're doing an international wire, we've partnered with Flywire to make those payments. You just go to flywire.com, find Loyola in the little search box, and then they'll walk you through. So you can do, if you have international credit cards or international banks, they have a bunch of different payment options where you can choose. They essentially buy and sell international currency. And then one of the most popular ones is the monthly payment plan. We had partnered, our payment plan company TMS was bought out by Nelnet about 4 years ago. So we've been migrated over to the Nelnet platform for this fall semester. And there have been some challenges. We did like 3 months of testing, and for some reason, the financial aid isn't flowing over into their system, the anticipated financial aid. So we don't know why. So if you are going to set up a payment plan, make sure you check your bill online first, view your statement online. Whatever amount it says to do, you can make your payment plan for that amount. So the Nelnet amount is going to be way higher than what the bill says because of that financial aid's not showing up. So when you're setting up the payment plans, you can actually change the amount in the box after you hit set up payment plan and begin. Like think like the second or third step just shows a box with an amount. You can write in that box, overwrite it, and type in the amount that your bill says is due. Right now we have the available, it's a 4 monthly payment plan that starts in August. So it would go through August through November. First of the month, they can do ACH, automatic ACH payments right in your checking account, or they can also do debit or credit cards automatically, but they charge a 2.75% fee for that. So their credit card, debit card fee is a little bit higher than ours, but it does allow you to spread it out over a couple months. It's a nice cash flow thing. If you don't sign up by July, either 20th or 29th, the 4 month plan goes away, and then we'd have a 3 month plan. It would be September, October, and November. So in order to get that started, your student has to go in, since it's their account, the students have to go in and actually create an account with Nelnet. So they go on loyola.edu/self-service, log in with their username and password, and then the student finance, they'll have a link that says payment plans. When they click on that, it automatically logs them into Nelnet, so they don't have another username and password to remember, but they do have to verify their information and create an account. After that, they can set up the payment plan if they want, or they can, if they've granted you proxy access and with the proper parameters, you can actually log in as a proxy and then get into Nelnet and set up the payment plans. If you need any help with that, please give us a call, schedule an appointment. We can walk you through that process. We've been dealing with our upperclassmen because this is brand new for them too. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but hopefully this will make things go more smoothly. But yeah, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. I would hate you to set up a payment plan for the wrong amount and then have a first payment of $7,000 come out. So we'll help you out with that, no problem. So we've been talking a lot about proxy access. And the reason we have that, so there's FERPA, it's called the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So that it's a federal laws that protects the students' information and makes it, since they're technically adults now, all their information is protected. So it's the student's responsibility to go and grant whoever they want to have access to their account this proxy access. We can actually go in and see who they granted proxy access and what access they've granted. So then we can talk to anybody that has that proxy access. We can discuss the student account with them. If they can pick and choose what access that you guys are granted, or they can just blanket and say, give this person all access. And it doesn't have to be just parents. It can be grandparents, aunts and uncles. It can be manager of a trust fund. It could be, friends. If you have like a consultant helping you out with filling out your financial aid and stuff, and they're doing this. Anybody can have a proxy access. They would just have whatever their email address is with their username, and then it goes from there. And I did see a question in the Q&A earlier that what do we do if we haven't been given proxy access despite repeated attempts? So the proxy access is a few-step process. The students have to first go in and add the people they want to have proxy access. So they go in and put, mom, dad, and Carol in there. That creates an form that goes to tech services. Tech services gets that, adds those people in, and you essentially get a Loyola ID number and an account created. Once that account is created, the student then gets an email saying, hey, this account has been created. Please log back in and grant the access that you want them to have. So that second part is generally where the hiccup is in the process. Students go in there, add the people for proxy access, but then don't go back in and grant the proxy access. So that's a huge part of it. Once that access is granted, that person will get an email with that information saying your access has been granted. Go ahead, log into self-service and poke around and have a good time. So there's two things on the bill that are optional. Health insurance is $3,044 for the year, and all students must be covered by health insurance, but you don't have to have our plan. If the student is covered by another plan, either through your work, somebody else's work, or they have a health insurance plan from the open market, that is fine. As long as it's good and covers the students in Maryland, that's fine. You can waive out of ours. We get those waivers once or twice a week from the company, so we have to manually go in and pull those off the accounts. So don't freak out if you did it, yesterday and it's not appearing today. We'll get to it. You can just deduct that $30.44 from the amount due. And if you're doing a payment plan, just go ahead and deduct that. And, you can set the payment plan up for whatever amount you want. The DOAR tuition refund plan, that's $101 per semester. And that refunds up to 80% of tuition, housing, and meal plans if the student has to withdraw for a medical reason. So it's an accident, illness, mental health issue. As long as they're under a doctor's care, there's a form that the doctor has to fill out. There's a form that we fill out. We send it into Dewar, and then, then they'll take it from there. One other thing I mentioned that our office is in charge of the ID cards. So that email will be going out, but that's going to be their lifeline to get around campus. They'll use it for their meal swipes, security access, library card, all that fun stuff. Just want to be cognizant of our time here. All right, we've got a couple minutes. Evergreen account is an on-campus debit spending account that they can use in the bookstore, vending machines, laundry. That way they don't have to, put quarters in the laundry machine or worry about that. So when people ask how much should I put in the Evergreen, I wouldn't put a ton in there. Most students have access to debit and credit cards. So they're not, if they're going to the post office, they can, if they're doing anything, they can pay that way. They will need it for printing and copying. You have to swipe your card there, and after they use up their free print credits, it'll start pulling down from the Evergreen account. So I always tell people, start with like $100, see how far that student gets. You can always add more. Evergreen money doesn't go away, unlike the meal points on the meal plan account at the end of the year. It just keeps rolling over. And then once they leave Loyola or graduate, then anything over $2, we refund back to you guys. To do a deposit to that, just go to loyola.edu/evergreen deposit, and you can log in with the student's last name and ID number and do a guest deposit right to that account. So that's all I have for now. Thank you, guys. And now, Marianne, do you want to look in the Q&A? And I saw, since you went first, there's a bunch of financial aid questions in there.
I got a lot of those out.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was busy while you were talking.
Oh man, that's not cool.
Let's see. But Dave, there's some. I'm going to give you a question here.
Okay.
If the parent plans to pay the invoice amount from their bank account, should this be done through the Proxy dashboard? And what is the bank account on our son's dashboard typically used for?
All right, so that sounds like the dashboard in the Nelnet, the payment plan software. So if you're gonna pay from your bank account and you're not doing like the monthly payment plan, you can pay directly at loyola.edu/self-service. You would log in as a proxy for the student, and then you can just go right into the make a payment on there. That's going to be easier than going through Nelnet and paying that way and then coming in. So Nelnet will actually save the bank account information in their site so that they can hit your bank account every month. At Loyola, we don't do that. So you just go in one time if you're paying the whole thing or even a portion of it. Just go in, put your routing number, check account number, or credit debit card information in there, and then we go away. So that the bank account information that's saved in there is generally saved in the Nelnet software, in the Nelnet platform, and that's used for the monthly payment plans. So we at Loyola don't save our stuff. Nelnet would save it for those monthly deductions.
Here's another one about a 529, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Where did I see that? How do I get my 529 plan to pay the school directly? What information do I need to provide them?
Yeah, so with the 529s, generally all they need is Loyola's name, address, and then the student's ID number. So you just contact the 529 plan either by phone or on their website. Give them that information. They usually ask, how much do you want to pay? You tell them that, and then they send us a check. We get it in usually about 2 weeks. It's pretty quick turnaround for that.
Is there a fee for Nelnet, Dave?
There is. There's a $40 fee per semester. It's a non-refundable fee. So you pay that. What I want everyone to watch out for is if you sign up for the Nelnet payment plan and the first payment bounces because the account number is incorrect, they will automatically cancel your plan. And then if you want to start up a plan again, you have to go and pay another $40. So be very, very careful when you're entering that bank account information in there, that it is the right routing number and checking account number.
And then related to that, if you sign up for Nelnet, if you pay, let's see, is there a fee if you pay out of your bank account rather than by credit card?
No, there's no fee. There's no fee for their automatic out of your checking or savings account. That one is free as well. So only credit and debit cards.
What is the difference between the ID card and the Evergreen card?
Exact same card. It's just like your ATM. When you put your ATM card in, we can take money out of checking or savings. The account, it's sort of like that. So the Evergreen card is their ID card that they walk around with. The Evergreen account is the pre-funded debit spending account that the students are going to use around campus for laundry, vending machines. Those are the laundry and vending machines are the biggest ones. It can also be used in dining services. They can use their Evergreen funds there, but they are subject to Maryland state sales tax. So tell the students if they are going to buy food using their ID card in the thing, make sure they're using their meal points or their meal swipes. If they run out of meal points, they can actually add more meal points on there through that same Evergreen Deposits website. But just remember that those funds do go away at the end of the academic year. So don't load those up. They're tax-free, but they do go away.
Dave, can you slowly provide your Loyola mailing address?
Yes.
Slowly.
It is.
We tend to talk fast.
I know. Sorry.
I know.
I'm from
Me too.
Pennsylvania. We got stuff.
I'm from Michigan.
You're more laid back. So the
Yeah, I'm a
mailing address
Midwesterner.
is, it's 4501 North Charles Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21210. And then put attention SAS if it's for us, or attention financial aid if it's for Mary Ann. Always address it because it goes to one post office and then they distribute it from there. So the more information you can put on that envelope, the better. You can even put SAS Dave and it'll come right to me.
Really?
Yeah.
It'll come to you directly? It won't go to
It
somebody
will.
else in
They
your
plop it
office?
right on my desk.
Wow.
I know. They're pretty efficient. I also get a lot of random stuff too that doesn't have my name on it or SAS, but
Let's see, how are we on time?
yeah, what do we got? We got like
Oh, we have 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me
Let's see what
see.
else. Let me look at the questions here.
Let's go through here.
Here, could I get the 529 plan instructions to pay the bill on August 1st? So yeah, so there's no, you would have to request the 529 plan to send the payment. I don't know if they can do it that quickly. But you just want to go in and request that they do that so we get the payment by the beginning of August. That's most important. So what happens if the bill is not paid? The student gets put on a hold on their account and they're not able to add drop classes, get the grades, get the transcripts, things like that. So, and they see a thing when they log on to the inside Loyola portal, it says you're on a financial hold. And then now when the student sees that, then you're going to get an angry phone call. And then I'm going to get an angry phone call. So we avoid that, just have everything paid by the beginning of August, and then we're good to go.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to let you take the questions because I do have to send a link to somebody.
Okay.
So I'm going to do something else real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see there's another proxy
Okay.
one on here. It says, my parents are having trouble paying despite me giving them access to my financial information. They said they still haven't gotten a username or password. Do I let them pay through my own Loyola account? You can do that if the students want to log in. Students have ultimate access, so they can go in. If your parents give you the payment information, you can go in and make the payment. But the best thing to do is call the help desk. The help desk is 410-617-5555, or you can shoot them an email at OTS, that stands for Office of Technology Services, OTS@loyola.edu, and just tell them that there's something wrong with the proxy access, that your parents aren't able to get that, and they should be able to, technology services will be able to get that out to them. Let's see what else we got here. So, okay, so the bill is due August 1st. The bill is published now. The bill actually publishes as soon as the students are registered for a class. So as soon as they register, the bill becomes available, but it's not necessarily complete because we still have to wait for information from student life on the housing and the meal plan. Financial aid has to get all their stuff in the system. So the bill might not be totally ready, and it's a fluid thing. Like financial aid is adding more stuff on, all the time. Things change, housing assignments change, students change their meal plans, things like that. So it can vary, but yeah, so it is, the bills are up there and published. You can log on to self-service. There's a link on there. Once you're on the main page, there's a link that says view statement. You click on that and then boom, up comes the fall bill.
And everything in self-service is live. So as soon as we do something in our office that affects the student's financial aid, boom, it's going to show up on self-service in the financial aid portion. And self-service financial aid talks to self-service student accounts. That information is transfers right over more or less. So information is going to show up on the bill. So it's a very dynamic, it's a live system. I did get a question, Dave, I'm going to jump in here. It's about the loans. It says, if you get a loan, does it cover the whole year and not 2 separate semesters? The loan is going to be processed. A student loan is going to be processed for the academic year automatically. So we're going to receive the first disbursement from the federal government and apply it to the student's account 10 days prior to the beginning of the fall semester. And then we're going to get funding from the federal government to apply the second disbursement during the spring semester. Now, in the case of a parent loan or an alternative loan, you will have to specify the loan period on the application. We encourage that you borrow for the whole year so that half the money is then dispersed in the fall and half is automatically dispersed in the spring. And why 2 disbursements? Because you have 2 bills. You have a fall bill and you have a spring bill. We don't disperse the money all at one time. However, if on the PLUS application or the private loan application, you specify a loan period that is for only 1 semester, then the loan is going to come in just for that semester. So hopefully that helps. That answers that question because it's come up a couple of times in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at, there's a question here about the housing costs. As my roommate mentioned, they cannot see the housing cost underneath room and board tab. They only see the meal plan cost. Is this because they're originally a commuting student? I can see the housing cost on my end, so I'm not sure. So yeah, so because Student Life hasn't officially assigned everyone housing yet, we have to go on and put like a temporary housing charge for all the first year students. So the list we got from admission had everybody that said they were living on campus and everybody that was a commuter. So the commuters, we didn't put that charge on there. So if they switched in the meantime, we haven't put that charge on there. So just have them reach out to us. We can get that charge on there. But hopefully Student Life has everyone assigned shortly. And that way, when you look at your bill, you actually see what is, what your room assignment is on the bill. Someone's asking a question about tuition insurance. The tuition insurance is automatically on the bill. You can waive out of it. It's $101 per semester. And it covers for a medical withdrawal. So they have to withdraw for the semester and it has to be for a medical reason. It can't just because I don't like Loyola or anything like that. So they have to be under a doctor's care and things like that. So that is, you can waive out of it. It's on our website, loyola.edu/SAS. Just there's a link to the waiver right there. There's also the link takes you to the company. It's called Duar. They've been around since like 1930 doing tuition refund plans. Tuition was a lot less expensive back then. But still, it's a big chunk of money. So, but there's more information on there if you guys want to check out our website's got a link to their website there.
Hey Dave, it's 8 o'clock.
Okay. One more
Alrighty.
thing. Someone also asked if this recording is going to be live somewhere or saved somewhere. It is. It's going to be on the student engagement website later on this week. They're gonna put this up so you can download it and show all of your friends if you'd like, whatever you want to do. Yeah, we want to thank everybody for your time. Like I said, feel free to reach out to us, give us a call, schedule a meeting. Scheduling the meeting is going to be your best option because we are constantly on the phone. So yeah, I don't want you guys to get frustrated. Just set up that appointment and we will get with you, no problem. Thanks so much. Marianne, I'll turn it over to you.
Again, it's after 8. I'm afraid we're going to get cut off. So I'm just going to say thank you so much. And yes, by all means, please reach out. If you have additional questions, we'll respond as soon as we possibly can. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.